Alright everybody, I want to go over some of the styles and versions of BX wire that I typically run into, and then I'm going to show you one that I don't really run into as much, but we have it here today. So okay, let's go with like the biggest one that we have here. Okay, usually I don't find wire like this. It's too easy for people to just pull the machine wire right out. But what this one has is it has 4 thick strands of copper machine wire in it. Definitely a yes on this one to pull apart and strip, right? That's what I think. We got a massive bag of MLC here, but here's another style of BX wire that I would definitely recommend pulling apart. This also has 4 strands of machine wire. They're twined together quite well because it was in a size of BX that was about this size. So you got 4 strands of copper machine wire in there. That's in my opinion, separate the two, because you turn it in with wire like this with copper in it, they're only going to give you $1 a pound or so, like $1.10, $1.20. Not really worth it. But you pull this machine wire out, it automatically upgrades it to like $2.50 or $2.60 a pound on this just alone. Okay. Another one right here. This stuff, what we have here is 3 strands of machine wire, and then you have this piece of communication cable that's in there with it. Definitely another good one to pull strip out, but you have to, well, I have to pull the communication cable out and sell that separately just as is, because it's not really worth processing. So I have a small side bucket right here where I throw that stuff. But after you pull that comm wire out, you got nice clean machine wire to throw in the granulator. Right? Okay. So here is another one that's very similar to the last one that I had just showed you, but they're just basically separate colors. And yeah, 3 pieces of machine wire, and then you got communication cable. There is also another one here that I do want to show you. Okay, I'm going to pull this apart right now to show you, because this is a whole other beast right here. This has 3 different kinds of wire in it in one aluminum shell. Okay, and I'll tell you the pros and cons of trying to pull strip this stuff. Okay, this BX wire has a coating of green color on the aluminum itself, and I've noticed that this aluminum shell is way tougher and thicker aluminum than usual. We're gonna pull this wire out of this BX and give you guys an idea of what I'm looking at here. Okay, in this wire you have a loose strand of aluminum ground wire in it. Okay, that's gonna obviously go right in with the MLC shell. That's usually how I run that stuff. But it, you know, oddly enough, it has a bare aluminum ground wire in there with it, along with a piece of communication cable. All right, and then you got your 3 strands of machine wire in there. So really, what you've just found out, okay, is that by pulling this apart, that was only valued at about $1.10, $1.20 a pound, you have unlocked machine wire that is $2.50 to $2.60 a pound. You've unlocked communication cable that is probably around $1.20 or $1.30 a pound right there. Okay, and then you've created a class of clean MLC, which is a high-grade aluminum. So by pulling this apart, you've created 3 very nice classes of material. In my opinion, definitely worth it. But what happened when I initially started cutting the stuff up and stripping the wire out is I found out that this stuff is insanely hard to pull out by hand. Really hard to pull out, because the amount of material that's inside of this little BX wire right there, there's so much material in there that it makes it so tight to where it's dang near impossible to pull out 2 feet or more. You know, but my idea behind it is that if I'm sitting inside this shop right here, right, and I'm pulling material out of this BX shell, which is now MLC, obviously, I'm gonna create those classes of material at the same time as creating machine wire for my granulator. So I'm upgrading it again. So you're upgrading, and then you're upgrading. Well, I don't know if you'd want to call that upgrading, but I think it is. Like if you pull com wire out of BX, you're upgrading into another material. Then you got MLC, which is an upgraded material. Okay, and then you got your freaking machine wire over here that is definitely an upgraded material. And then by throwing it in the granulator, you're upgrading it again. Okay, so what? You got 1 upgrade, 2 upgrade, 3 upgrade, 4 upgrade. It upgrades 4 times by sitting on my butt, pulling this stuff out and feeding it into a machine and then sluicing it. To me, that's worth it, you know. To others, they might just sell this stuff as is and just take $1.10 a pound. But why would you do that if you can unlock so many different more categories that pay more? In my head, the way that works is that makes sense to me. I'll do that. You know, we got like about, I don't know if you guys can see this, but we have about a half a bucket's worth of material here. And it's ready to go for the granulator, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically continue working on this stuff. I got 4 more buckets worth of this stuff. I'm gonna chop it up into 4 or 6 foot pieces and sit on my butt pulling this beautiful material out of this BX shell. And then we're gonna feed the machine wire straight into the granulator at the same time as having an increase in com wire and an increase in MLC. You can't upgrade it any more than that, I don't think. But it takes the having to have a wire stripper right out of the equation, and you're able to be doing like 1 and 2 and 3 other things. Sounds good to me. But I'm going to take a quick break, everybody. We're going to get back here and we're going to fire up the granulator and continue doing what I said I was going to do. I just wanted to bring some of that stuff to your guys' attention. Like, why am I pulling this stuff apart? Why am I pulling it apart? Well, give me your answer. Why am I doing it? You know, like, well, money. I need the money. And this stuff pulls out clean. Look at that. Like, they just came right out of the BX shell right there. This is one of my most favorite BX wires right here. The one that just has the shell and 3 strands of machine wire. See? That's my favorite category, and that's one that we did not explain yet. This stuff pulls so nice and easy and clean out of the MLC that it just goes right into the bucket for granulating. Okay. And then, yeah, that's another 3-strand piece right there. I was hoping to find this other category of wire that comes out of this stuff. And it's basically, well, it's basically just like this wire, regular machine wire, but it's solid core. That is also found in this material. So, I mean, that's like 5 or 6 different styles that I run into. But the ones that bother me the most, that I don't like the most, okay, is a standard piece of MLC, and then you pull out this 3 strands of wire, right? You got 2 pieces of machine wire, but then you have an aluminum ground wire that is in with it. My best way to process this, every time, this is what I do, is I try to eliminate that aluminum ground wire first. Before I pull this stuff out of the shell, I unravel a couple of sections like that, and then I grab on to the machine wire and then pull on the aluminum. Get that stuff out of the equation as fast as you can, because that makes it hard to strip this stuff, right? So now you got that, and it's going to go into MLC. That's the aluminum ground wire right there. Now, what we have here is 2 strands of machine wire with a little bit of plastic confetti on it. Typically, this confetti stuff comes off quite easy, so I try to take it off before I throw it in the granulator. I could do it vice versa and just leave it on and throw it in. I bet that would work just fine, but in my reality, the less plastic the sluice, the easier it's going to be. So that's the other type of wire that I don't care for at all. But I just wanted to go over this stuff with you guys to give you a greater idea of how I process different wires in here. But in reality, it all boils down to the machine wire. It's got one of the higher recovery rates for the small stuff. And that's why I like that for the machines here in the sluice. Okay, I throw machine wire in, it turns out like this right here. Okay, and then I bucket this stuff right out the window into a sluice, wash it clean. We're going to be doing a double chop on this stuff. I'm going to show you guys the speed and accuracy of that. I'm quite interested to see myself, because what I have never done before with this stuff was granulate it once, wash out the majority of the plastic material, let it dry or let it drip drain, bring it in, and run it a second time to see if I can get it as close to 100% clean as possible without having to overwork the material. And you guys might think dumping it in there twice is a waste of time, but it's not, because I have tried that before with just regranulating it as it came out, like twice, with leaving all the insulation in. Okay, so like imagine this pre-chopped material that I had just scooped out of that granulator, this stuff. What I did was I dumped it back in there again to see if I can get a better separation of the last chunks that I am dealing with at the end of the sluice. What I'm going to do this time that's different is I'm going to sluice this stuff first, and then bring the almost ready material back in and dump it back down. Okay, there's no plastic insulation. There's very little plastic insulation in the way of keeping me from getting this to 100% clean. Okay, so why not try to dump the raw copper material back in to see if we can get that last fraction of a percent of crap that's still in there. If we can do that and accomplish that, I'll run it twice every time on how we just explained. Because, well, that's a no-brainer to me. It's better than standing there and hand-picking stuff out for hours. That's what I'm trying to avoid here, because that is very time-consuming and I don't get paid for that. You know, when I'm trying to overcome that problem alone, because I think that's, dude, guys, I think that's like the last problem that I'm going to have for this whole setup, and then it's going to be grade A, 100% perfectly sluiced and separated copper. Okay, it is the last thing standing in my way, is having 20 or 30 little chunks of wire with insulation still on it in the end. I don't want to pick it out by hand. I want the machines to take care of it 100% at all cost. Once I get to that point, I'll be able to fine-tune and evaluate the whole scenario to see what we can do to make that time even more shortened. I'm taking these problems in steps and solving each one as I go. And Todd, with that comment in the last video, I appreciate that comment, man. That was great. You heard exactly what I wanted from you guys. You heard it. And what my intentions are, okay, with this wire, is to be able to get it done 100% easy without having to do any major builds or anything extra. Like I like trial and error stuff, everybody, but I want what I have now and and that's it, to be able to chop, sluice, and have it most efficient without any extra big experiments. Like, I'm not gonna just like go, okay, this was all a waste of time because someone said in the comments to do it a complete other way that I don't have any means ready to be set up for it to do. You know, this is ready to rock and roll now. We want to focus on what we have now. I don't have time to build any other little things. I just don't. I don't. And I don't want to anyways, because I see that this is working very great. Like, it's different if you're here in person seeing it. It's almost magical what happens at the end over there. To me anyways. I got a lot of time and money and research invested into this, and I may not be the smartest guy, but I got a brain, and I do use it. And your comments, all your comments were nice. You know, I really appreciate all that. But my main focus right here, right now, is to improve what we have. And Todd understood that, because he's looking at it at a perspective going, okay, he has unlimited time. Is there any tools with what he has now that he can make improvements on to make this speed up and get cleaner? And for him to tell me that, you know, like turn your pump up, more water pressure, and eliminate the screen and or open it, that's what I went with. But if it wasn't for Todd, I wouldn't have had that idea in my head to increase the water flow speed. We still need some sort of blockage in the back, so we're using that screen that we have back there now, and it's going to remain at a very open choke, I guess you could call it. To me, it reminds me of a choke, like a carburetor choke. We're going to leave it open, but still restrict enough flow toward the bottom where it is to keep the copper down, making much more enough, like way better flow for the material to pass by. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like before and after Todd's advice, look at how the sluice was acting. That's how you could get the most result by you guys just viewing it through video. You would be able to see the cause and effect if you watch both videos. Okay, like where the water flow was at before and after I used Todd's comment, and it created the ripples that I'm looking for. So we already have that. We do, and it's separating quite nicely all up until those little last denser chunks that are actually more washed out and cleaned out and toward the end, to where I just take a little 4 or 5 inch plastic rake and whoop the water twice, and then it's gone, and then I scoop it out. I'm cool with that. Happy with that. But I gotta stop ranting and rambling. It's Saturday to tomorrow, Sunday. I'm taking my travel trailer to go get a whole new underside done. We're getting everything underneath replaced. All the way from tires and rims to frickin' springs and shackles. Everything in between. So we need to get on this stuff, work on it. I would like to get all the MLC separated. We're gonna have like a few bags of this stuff. So that's added profit on top of what we're doing in here, granulating that wire and creating a class of communication cable. And then upgrading the machine wire into copper, which pays probably over $4 or something a pound. So the way I see it is we're going from $1.10 or $1.20 a pound to $4 a pound or more for copper, and then another $1.20 a pound for comm wire, and then you're getting 70 cents or more a pound for clean MLC. I'll sit in here all day pulling this stuff apart and watch movies and shop and make videos for you guys. That gives me the ability to do what I need to do, but still make videos. I love that. It works for live streams too. So, I'm not trying to talk at people, but I'm talking to all of you. I appreciate y'all watching my channel and see what I had actually going on back here. And things are looking up. They are. You know, this is the best that this sluice has ever ran before. Alrighty, everybody. As you can see, I'm kind of standing on a mountain of BX wire right here. We got to start stripping this stuff. I got 4 more buckets of it left. So I'm just going to get us a couple camera angles and talk a little bit about what we did yesterday. And we're going to clean up BX wire. Okay. I tried giving you guys an example yesterday about this stuff right here. This BX, you can see it's got kind of a green coating on it. On the inside of this stuff, which this BX is a little bit thicker than normal, it has 3 strands of copper machine wire, and then it's got one strand of communication cable, and then it's got a bare aluminum ground wire going through it as well. And I was explaining to you guys about all the categories you can unlock by pulling this stuff free and increasing the value in each category, because this stuff alone is like $1, $1.10, maybe $1.20 a pound now, since prices are doing good. But I opened this stuff up and was surprised to see an extra category or two, you know, coming from it. So you got your MLC wire, you got your communication cable, then you got your 3 strands of machine wire you're pulling from it, which is getting upgraded again by tossing it into the granulator, kind of sitting here and doing all that in a single process. We had a bucket of the cat wire that came from this stuff, okay, but it's outside now. I might just get a bigger basket or a bag to be able to do that if I run into another bundle of this stuff, which was just kind of a rare type of wire. I mean, I don't know if it's really rare at all, but it's rare to me because I've never ran into it before. This stuff ended up being very, very tough to pull free because it is crammed with wire in there. It's tight. So I had to literally cut this stuff down into like 2-foot sections, or even smaller, I think, to be able to get the wire out of it, which made me feel like it really wasn't all that worth it. It was perfect size pieces for the machine to throw in there, but I wasn't creating them fast enough to keep the granulator running. So I don't know. Shouldn't have that problem now, but what we are going to do, since we have all buckets are empty, I want to fill up a basket of machine wire by processing this BX wire and the other 4 buckets behind it. So we're going to do a little time lapse and get to that point where we can fire our machine up again. Okay? Okay. There's a camera right behind me too, capturing the shenanigans we have going on here. But as I was explaining when I was doing this mystery green BX wire, what we usually do is we grab us a strand of BX, and I have these cheap pair of shears. Usually I think they'd be almost garden shears, but I keep them sharp, and it cuts wire, and I can pull wire freely from BX. See how that wire is just sticking up out of there? I can just pull it out. Look at it. It should be that easy. But you guys will see in yesterday's recordings, it was like this. What the hell? This stuff is so tough. I've never tried cleaning up this kind. I can't pull it out of there, man. This is the hardest BX wire I've ever had to pull. It's in there so tight, that's why. Like that, okay? Let's see, you got your BX wire and your machine wire right now. Throw in the bucket, repeat. And we're gonna have plastic shreddies to get rid of as well. We're just gonna throw them right behind that bag and then clean that up later. But, all right, time lapse. Time lapse. Alrighty, everybody. We had gotten that big old monster pile of BX done. We got 4 more buckets of that stuff to do, so I don't know if I'm going to keep going on this tonight, because tomorrow morning I got to get my travel trailer over to my mechanics. He's got everything he needs to get the whole undercarriage of that 100%. That means axles and the whole 9 yards, everything underneath. So we are going to bucket up the rest of that copper and unbury that old 70s rotary phone. I thought that was a pretty cool diorama for you guys to see as copper was building around it, you know, America. Pretty successful day, I should say myself here. And then tomorrow's going to get even more exciting. I got a lot of stuff to do before I can even pull that trailer out. I got to move everything away from it. I got to pop up half of that fence panel over there and pull up that one 4x4 post that's in the ground, so I'm able to wing out. And yeah, a lot of stuff we're doing right now. I'm doing a lot more besides just this wire, so that's why the video is late tonight. Probably be a late video tomorrow too. Probably won't even have a video today, honestly. But that stuff happens, man. I have no control over that. I mean, I do, but I don't. We got a big old bag of MLC, and we got another nice bucket of comm wire right here. And we're gonna leave this bag here for now. Boom. We're gonna come down here. We're gonna bag up our catch here. By that I mean we're gonna throw this copper into these buckets and see how it did anyways. And you guys are probably like, hey, why don't you just slide a bucket underneath there? Well, then I wouldn't be able to show you guys some cool things while I'm working. I have to entertain as well as do scrap metal. More than just one thing, obviously. I gotta make these videos exciting to watch, correct? Well, I thought that was some pretty funny stuff I did here. But anyways, let's unbury this. We're gonna unbury this phone, okay? Okay, we're gonna unbury the phone. This is Merchant Metals. Like and subscribe. Maybe hype my channel. That'd be cool. Okay. Right off the bat, we see a piece of plastic with copper still on it. And I'm really loving this rubber mat that I threw in here. It makes it so much easier to sweep this stuff up when I'm cleaning. But we're going to fill up all these buckets if we can. And then we're going to get right back to processing and sluicing. Beautiful. Holy crap, we really buried that phone in there. Come on, phone. Now that's caked. Wow. The the screen was starting to fill up down in here. The screen that's right below my, what would you call that? The diameter screen, whatever. Most of you probably know what I just said, or beds. Yeah. There it is. America. This phone will probably never work again. Well, it probably works right now, but just, you know what I mean. But, yeah. Let me make a phone call. Hello, hello, hello. America. I had nothing else to say. So I just said America. Now we don't want to pack it in these buckets. We want it kind of loose. All right. It's beautiful. All right. 3 more buckets, we'll have a wall about as tall as that transformer right there. I have to start preparing my travel trailer literally right now to prepare to move tomorrow early in the morning. We're going to go get our axles. I can't wait. That's a huge step toward this adventure this winter. A huge step. But thank you all for hanging out with me. I was seriously thinking about going live tonight because I was, you know, kind of felt like really I would have wanted the company. That's all. But all right. Yeah. We're going to get our travel trailer done tomorrow. All right.
I wake up in the morning and I'm quickly on my way to see what copper, brass, and dally I can find today. I may not find anything, and you know that that's okay, 'cause scrapping it ain't easy, and that's what I always say. Ooh, yeah. ain't easy.